provide a brief overview of this PowerPoint that we've attached as a PDF. And what I wanted to do here is show you a case study of something that we used UForms for in Japan some 10 years ago. And wanted to bring you up to date on why this might be important in this present day. And this case study involved the fact that we were dealing with our mobile strategy, moving through the 2 and 2.5G wireless environments over there and into 3G. We saw that there was a real need, and we knew that this would come to North America eventually, and now it's here, but it was a long time coming. So our efforts in Japan, we curtailed them and continued using UForms through the years, through the entire decade, as the back-end report system for our online reservations and our property management systems. And it's done a super job for that, and has provided us with the flexibility that we could never get from something like Quistel reports. And definitely there's very few marketable products in between that would compare to this product. Written in ANSI C++ and all of those, we'll go through that, what makes it tick. But I wanted to demonstrate one of the early solutions that we provided that was very exciting. We made a 6-figure sale on this particular approach, and therefore you're looking at prior art from a Japanese standpoint. But being that we're the only authors in the world, we feel that what we're going to present here could be jointly of any benefit. Now, what we did here was, the classic problem is a up-and-coming internet company in Japan had a problem of publishing all of their information online, and they didn't know how to go to the vertical and small form factor, and we had a great deal of strength in that area and felt that we could deliver a product. They licensed our product to run on 10 Solaris Intel stations, and paid absolutely no support, ran it for 6 solid years, and equaled volumes at or near Yahoo Japan in the wireless market. They were very, very popular, and this Able Corporation here did very well with our stuff. Even at the end, when they stopped using it, they were saying that our stuff compiled 3 times as fast as the other solution, and thereby they could use 3 times as fewer servers. But that was not the issue that they wanted. They wanted to own our product outright, and at that point there was no way of negotiating a proper sale price. So they backed off of it after that 6 years, but UForms worked flawlessly over that period of time on Solaris Intel. And we also know that it's friendly to Solaris Spark. What we did was essentially make it such that one web address could basically serve both cellular and standard browsers. Because we could recognize the browser coming across from the cell phone, we would respond to it automatically and start presenting information in vertical format rather than in wide and big. And therefore one website would be able to reach all consumers. And this is exactly how it worked. And basically you'd see floor plans on the cell phone as clearly as you'd see them on there, and then we would stack the data up and down on the HTML on either side. Our competitors in the market, this one was done by Recruit Corporation over there, big multi-hundred-million-dollar company in Japan at that time. This was our product matched up to their stuff, which was one size meets all, serves no one. And we were filling the screens with full color images at the same time. UForms functionality. How does it work? UForms functionality and how it does work. And one of the things you're going to see on here is a lot of Japanese text, because we feel that that's the more complex type of language, where you may have characters of 10, 12, 13 strokes on the form on a page. Obviously, if you're looking at small form factor images on cell phones and whatnot, these are almost impossible to read. And while we have pan and zoom capabilities, obviously that's not something that's required in the market today. What with the browser technology and everything available, we had it at that time. And we saw that as being very, very beneficial to those folks that are in the 50-plus range, bifocal crowd, that they could be reading their own text off of a cell phone. Could actually help bring a generation back into the wireless community. And we think that that's really important even in today in North America. So let's see what else is under the hood here, and why this might be important for rendering process and whatnot. And first off, let's look at it from a developer standpoint and view WAP XML combinations of code against a simpler UForms solution. and take a look at the challenge that we have here. Users want to see a simple graphic on a green screen, and what does the developer have to do in order to fulfill this in the 2.5G or 2G environment. This is what it would take. You'd be looking at what we call the WAP XML wall of code. And there's a lot to get around to make sure that something delivers in that very format and is friendly across the system. In a UForms case, the same delivery and the same graphics and everything can be delivered in this snippet of code. So we think that that provides a much better solution than the WAP XML approach in any case. And basically, that's where we think that this is most powerful, in that we can keep the code light. If you started talking about the code density and the manageability, even today, after we got past the WAP process, you're looking at fairly mountainous tasks when you're starting to try to represent this information in other formats without bringing on third-party tools or something of that nature that may not work in the older environments. So we think that UForms, being that it's backward compatible all the way to Windows 95, even Windows NT, with the applications that you have in the banking community, something of this nature with that level of compatibility and adaptability would be highly beneficial. And so we moved on from there, and what we want to do is talk about what makes it work and why we think that UForms is so exciting a solution even after a decade of development and even a bit of that time languishing, simply because Digital Res has been working on its reservation systems, and UForms was not a challenge or a problem. But we know in the discussions with that there may be some real opportunities for us to be able to provide some solutions on the PCI compliancy side with combinations of UForms and our tokenization process. And we also have another element that we haven't mentioned before, small packet protocol, which is where we have the capability of, compressing a data dog and passing it through a garden hose and then reassembling it in text form. Very exciting. It gave us a tremendous leap up on some of the dial-up connections and stuff of that nature. But like I said, we can recompile UForms, and we also support way back to the ancient NT and the older systems that aren't up to date yet. And I can imagine that the banks are running a lot of this. Windows 2000, even earlier, back to Windows NT. We already have compiled on 64-bit NT and alpha combinations. Things of this nature are probably unprecedented as far as we understand.